Welcome to another edition of Wake Up the Echoes presented by TireRack.com. I'm your host, Tony Simeone, and once again, we get to talk women's basketball this week as we welcome back Niele Ivey to her show. It was great to catch up with her after her team's big win against Tennessee a couple of weeks back, and then later in the show, we also talked to two veterans on the team, Nat Marshall and Sonia Citron, about that win and really how things have evolved here in their time on campus. It was a great discussion with them, kind of learning a little bit about how they both grew up in the state of New York, but did not know each other, but knew of each other. It was really fun to talk to them about that dynamic. Then, later in the show, for the first time all year, I stepped out of the hosting seat. I turned it over to Niele Ivey, and she talked to Irish great Skylar Diggins-Smith. Those two had a great conversation that really covered everything from when Skylar first got onto campus to how she's evolved on and off the floor in her professional career. The two of them go way back, and it was just great to listen to them converse about a host of topics that really covered the collegiate game as well as the professional game as well. It was a great discussion with them. Looking forward to listening to it. But first, let's talk to head coach Niele Ivey. All right, Coach, welcome back. This is our second show. I remember last time when we talked, before you were going down to Tennessee, we were hyping up. Here we go. You're going to go down to the Lions' Den, go to the Pat Summitt Court and try to get a win in a tough environment. And that game, watching it, it was so fun to watch. What was your biggest takeaway from the win at Tennessee?
Just the resilience of my team. You know, we were stuck with some adversity the first half. Didn't start the game well at all. Thought that they started the game really, really well. I thought we were prepared. You know, we prepared mentally, physically, but just I think in the moment, it took us a while to actually get going. So to be able to come back from being down 16 at one point, it's definitely maturing from the first game of the season, being down 15 with South Carolina. Right. So just seeing the difference, the tale of two halves, I was really proud of the team and their effort. The adversity was really crazy, even going into the game. You know, didn't have Cass, and so my rotations were a lot different. I hadn't practiced it, so I was really grateful for the win and just to see us bounce back. Yeah,
we talked the last time, too, about the huge Tennessee win here, I think like 5 years ago, again in 2018. So I had a question for you. 23-point comeback, which I think is the largest comeback in program history. Mm-hmm. I think it is. But that's at home. So what's tougher, 23 points against a really good Tennessee team back then at home, or 16 points like you did against a really good Tennessee team on the road? Which do you think is more impressive?
I think they're both impressive.
Okay, you're not going to rank them?
I can't rank them. Honestly, I think being down 23, that was a really impressive comeback. Yeah. So I would say that win, especially we just lost to Louisville, so our morale was down. And so that was a way for us to really fight back from just losing a really tough tough game before that. Okay, we're not going to rank them, but going on the road, and we're going to talk to them later. Nat Marshall and Sonia were here. And they said that they love winning on the road more than winning at home because there's that kind of hush and that murmur. Do you feel the same way? Like I saw the locker room footage, and you guys are pretty hyped up for good reason. Like, what is it like when you're the coach and you take a team down on the road and you do get out of there with a win like that? What's it feel like? I totally agree with them. It is definitely a different feeling because you are literally there by yourself. You only have your team and a couple fans that are sitting right behind you. And so having that experience of being in someone else's court, actually beating them on their court, it's definitely a more jubilant feeling than being at home. Because at home, you have the energy of the crowd. Right. You know, you have the comfort level of being on the arena floor. When you're away, like that's a totally different energy. So I definitely would say winning on the road feels a lot better.
Yeah, I am envious because being in a road winning locker room looks like some of the most fun moments that stick with you forever, and I'll never have those. But I live vicariously through you guys when you go on the road. A name that we didn't talk about, you have so many great players, and we can't cover them all every week, but KK Bransford. I mean, I thought it was such a great illustration of the depth you have because we talk about so many players, and then you're at 68-68, and she gets you the big bucket. Just to see her get that bucket, what did that tell you about her mentality, her mindset, and really the makeup of this team? Like you said, tons of adversity going into the game, and she steps up in the final minute for you.
It says so much to me about her. She's gone through, just came back from surgery.
Right.
And that play wasn't drawn up for her. So she just went and got a bucket. And I love seeing players do that. To me, it reminds me of a Marina Enrique, a Skylar, a Jewel Lloyd, where sometimes the play breaks down. Enrique's buzzer beater. that wasn't the play. That was not the play. She just deviated from the play and made a play. So I was so proud of her because that was her first big moment as a sophomore. To say that as a sophomore, that she stepped up and did whatever was needed. I know that has to be a big confidence booster for her. And I'm just happy for her because she's gone through a lot. She's so mature and so confident that she was like, okay, I got it, put the team on her back and made a huge play. So I was really happy for her in that moment.
Okay, that makes me think now because you're the coach and you have a structure and you have a system and you have plays you call out. So how do you communicate to your players? Because you just applauded one of them for, I don't want to say not running the play, but finding a way to make something happen that wasn't within the scheme. Like she identified something and she went and did it, which you want to encourage. But how do you thread that needle? Because you're trying to coach them a certain way and say, here's what we do. But at certain times you have to do what's not coached. How do you communicate that as a head coach and make sure that they're all on the same page?
Yes, I think in practice, like I create scenarios, and so they have to read defenses. And so the defense, they backed up and kind of clogged the paint on Hannah. And so like in practice, I'm always putting them in situations so they can read. And so that's what she did. The play that, like I said, like defensively, they kind of backed up, clogged the space. So we swung the ball over to the left side of the floor, and then KK just went one-on-one. So I try to you can never fully prepare a team, but you try to set them up for areas for them to have to think. And I think reading the game and feeling the game is the most important piece because again, you can draw up the great coaches can draw up great plays, but like the players have to make plays. And I was just happy she figured out a way to make a play.
And a lot of that's not coachable, right? A lot of that's just like basketball IQ that you're born with or you learn over time, right?
Exactly. Okay. And she has a great basketball IQ.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's one of those things. Can you identify that in recruiting? Because I feel like a 15-year-old, 14-year-old, however old they may be, it's got to be hard to identify because they might also get that IQ later in life. How do you scout that or recruit that or coach that? How do you identify IQ?
Yeah, I can identify that like watching them a lot and talking to them because you can find out a lot when you have a real great conversation or have them on campus and you start asking them different type of questions. And I'm always kind of doing my research with the high school coaches, AAU coaches, and they'll tell me a little bit what I need to know about them as a thinker. I think that's the biggest thing for us at Notre Dame. Like we always have high basketball IQ players, and that's what makes us successful. They're not just machines. Like they know how to think, obviously, because they go to Notre Dame and academically they're really smart. But I feel like I like to attract and align players that really understand the game and they know the game. And KK knows the game. Yeah. And I knew that watching her. I knew that getting to know her and, like I said, doing my research with everybody that she surrounded herself with. So I knew what I pretty much know what I'm getting.
Okay.
Good. Sometimes I have to figure out how do they learn. So, some players are more visionary, they're more video. Some I have to like really go on the court with them and walk them through stuff, and I have them draw stuff up. So I figure that out when they're on campus, but you kind of have an idea what you're getting.
It's like any teacher or educator. Everyone learns differently,
yes.
and you got to coach them all differently. Other person I want to talk about was Nat Marshall. She's on the show this week. She's just kind of breaking out right now, and it's fun to watch. When we talked with her, she mentioned the injuries, and she just hasn't played as much over the last couple of years. When you see someone like her really stick it out, and now she's getting rewarded with obviously great minutes, but great production as well. I think it's 4 straight double-figure games. How satisfying is that as a coach, not just to see her, but now she's also, I feel like, an example you can point to younger players that are maybe waiting their turn or haven't seen things go their way yet.
I think that, first of all, I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. It makes me so happy to see where she is at this point because she has gone through a lot. I mean, she had a surgery out of high school, so coming in, trying to battle back from injury, and then just having just up and down, with her past couple of years. And she's really found her value. She knows who she is. She's confident. A lot of it's confidence. I think she'll probably tell you that a lot of it is a lot of confidence, and she understands the system. She understands what I want. And she's going to run through a wall, for me and the team. And just to see her evolution has been really incredible. And sometimes I think she's an example of the journey looks different for a lot of different people. Like Hannah's journey is different. She's a freshman. She's in the fire. She's got a chance to, made her impact right away. And Nat has not been. The road has been different for Nat, but it's all part of her process, becoming who she is. And I just love that for her. And she's worked so hard. And it shows like if you're ready, you don't have to get ready. I think that's always like a
stay ready, so you don't have to get ready. Yeah.
So you don't have to get ready, and she was ready this year.
That's my motto: stay ready, don't have to get ready. And then she's a double major and a minor. How does she balance all that? We talked to her a little bit later. I just couldn't believe that she's able to perform this way while apparently like taking every class under the sun while she's been here? Like, how is that possible? You know how this goes. Time management is so tough. Does that make it even more impressive that she pulls all this off at the same time?
It does. It makes it way more impressive. Like, she's so mature, such a high IQ. Like, she works so hard. She's so smart, and academics are really, really important to her and her family. And she's always known exactly what she wanted to study. She's very, very confident in that regards. I think she does a great job of kind of utilizing all the resources here, all the academic resources. And she's the type of player that really likes to connect with the community. She connects with being a part of a lot of different things that are bigger than basketball. I think she went on a unity tour with the ACC.
That's right. Yeah.
Conference this summer, went to DC. She's very forward thinking. And I'm really impressed with the way that she has learned how to balance everything that she's studying and everything that she's wanted to be, and to see where she is now on and off the court. It's just a testament to who she is. She's very, very confident, very powerful, and I know she's going to do great things once she graduates from here.
She seems like a great role model for the program. Other role models, what a transition. Coach McGraw. Yes. She's going to get a statue. Obviously, so deserved. You played for her. You coached for her. I just want to know, what it means to see a statue go up for her when you think about all that she's done for you and the countless other players in the university. What that'll mean. We've covered her so much, and she's, Hall of Famer. So many things come to mind. But when you see that statue go up, what do you think will go through your head?
I probably cry, first off, because it's the first female statue that's here on campus. So it's monumental, historical, groundbreaking that she has a statue here at Notre Dame. And she's so well deserving of this. She's been here, has changed the landscape of Notre Dame athletics. She's etched herself in so many record books, Hall of Famer, Coach of the Year, so many years, and won 2 national championships. And I had the blessing of being able to not only be coached by her, but be mentored by her and be a part of her staff and to work for her. So just fulfilling to see her get her flowers now. Yeah. I feel like a lot of times that legendary coaches, they don't get a chance to be
too late.
Yeah. to feel the love, the appreciation, and the impact that they've had. And so the fact that she gets that and we all get a chance to celebrate her and be here for her, I just can't wait. I'm overwhelmed with emotion because I'm just so happy for her. She deserves it, and I'm so grateful for her and all that she's done for me. And this is, I think, university's way of giving back, saying thank you for what she's done for us. It'll be awesome to see, and just a great reminder. Like, you walk around here, you see the other statues, whether it be for football primarily, and it's like a great reminder of like what was here before, and it really does. Like, it leaves a true impact. Like, yes, that's the person that laid the bricks for this program. Last one before we take our first break is about your shirt, and kind of a little tease for what we've got coming a little later. You're going to talk to Skylar Diggins, who's one of those great players that Coach McGraw coached and you have a great relationship with. What does she mean to this program? I'm excited to hear you guys talk a little bit later in the show, but when you think of Skylar Diggins, what comes to mind and what does she mean to Notre Dame? Winner, passion, and a legend. That's what I think about with her. I think greatness. There's so many things I could say and that I'm going to talk about later, but she really changed our program, and I knew she would. And just to see the impact that she's made on our program, but also the women's game in general, is so pivotal, so impactful, so inspiring that, I'm just blessed that I have such a great relationship with her, and I had the opportunity to be a part of her journey and to help mentor her in a small way. Rare she joins podcasts. Rare. Yeah. We are in rare air soon. So we got to thank you for the exclusive guest visit. I'm excited to listen to that conversation. Always great catching up with you. Yes. 7-1. Keep it rolling. And we'll talk to you. I don't know when our next show is, but I'm excited to check back in whenever that is and hear you talk to Skylar a little bit later. Awesome. Thank you. All right. Can I call you Sony and Nat? Is that work? Okay. First time meeting you guys. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us. This is our coldest moment of the week segment. Okay. I don't necessarily keep it confined to 1 week, so I usually ask our guests for the other person they're sitting next to, their coldest moment in their time here. You guys have both been here for a while, so you've seen each other play. So I'll start with you, Nat. When you think of Sony, what is the coldest moment in her career? It can be a single play. It could be a game. What comes to mind? I think I'm going to go with when we played at Louisville last season. Yeah. And we were down.
after Liv got hurt, I think she really put the team on her back and carried us to that win.
What's it like playing at the Yum Center? It's pretty fun.
Oh, it's fun.
Yeah. It's
Their
a cool
fans
building.
are ruthless.
They're crazy.
It was fun. It was really nice to like beat them at home. And I think it was their senior night. Was it that game?
Yeah.
Oh.
Where they had said, someone on their team had said, we don't lose at home or we don't lose on senior night.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes. Big yikes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was cool.
What about Nat? Sonia, what's her coldest moment?
I'd have to say the Tennessee game, which was pretty recent. But I think that she was a really big factor to us winning, especially coming back from that deficit we were at. And I think I don't even know how many O boards she had, but it was so many, and she just played so well. And, yeah.
You had 9 rebounds, right, overall? Another road game. So I'm sensing a trend here. I had a question for you guys about this. Is it more satisfying to go on the road and quiet someone else's building than win in your own?
100%.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
What about it makes it so much more fun? Is it the noise at the end when you can kind of hear the hush? What comes to mind when you win those big road games?
I would say I feel like in the beginning of the game, the fans are always so loud and they're definitely chirping, saying stuff. So at the end when, like you said, like we get to silence them and the crowd is just silent, or like after when they're cheering for good defense and then you knock down the shot or something and they just go silent, it's definitely the best feeling.
Do you chirp them at all when you're on the way out with the W or no? Yeah, you keep it to
I
yourself.
personally
You
don't
don't?
do.
Okay. And what do you say, Nat? What do you tell them?
I don't know if I can repeat it, but
That's fine.
just kind of like, I don't know, just like being annoying and like just letting them know that they lost at home. Like that's the worst feeling. Like
Sure.
losing at home, especially when you have a good crowd, and it's a big game, and obviously it's like a good team. Like that's the worst feeling. So
We've talked about Tennessee and Louisville. If there's any other place that comes to mind, what are the toughest or coolest environments you've played in away from home when you think about it?
UConn.
UConn? Yeah. I was there once a couple years ago for the women, and that was pretty intense. Did you see the Husky when he was walking around on the side or no?
Yeah.
Did we? Oh,
I think
don't remember
we did.
seeing him.
Yeah, I remember seeing him.
But
Like the actual dog.
Yeah, the real dog, the
Yeah.
little guy. Yeah. He's actually pretty big, actually.
UConn gets a crazy student section, I remember. And they like have these like newspapers that they like, everyone's like reading them. It's like huge.
Yeah.
It was really fun to play there.
Sonia, for you, I know you're out right now. Just when you're out, how do you try to contribute to the team? What is your role? How does it change when you're not on the floor? How do you try to still help players, whether it be Nat or younger players on the team in your position right now?
Yeah, I mean, you definitely become a coach, honestly, because you can't play. You just see the game differently when you're on the bench. So, I mean, just kind of support them, cheer for them, give them any advice I can, just what I'm seeing off the court, because it is definitely a different perspective. So just kind of try and help any way I can.
What do you find yourself seeing? Because I've talked to different athletes who have been injured at times in their career, and they all say that same thing, that like you see the floor differently. So what are the things that you are able to see when you're not in the thick of it that come to mind?
Yeah. I think I see a lot of defensive stuff. Yeah, a lot of defensive stuff with our team.
Like maybe
when you're on the
assignments that
bench.
you guys are missing or have to correct?
Yeah, just like let's say help defense, or it's a lot more visible when you're watching than when you're in the game, because I know when you're playing, you're a man to guard, there's just so much going on, you don't really see it.
Yeah.
Whereas when you're on the bench, like you can see clearly like who should have been where and like just what we're missing kind of. So I'd say that. Do
you notice that then also because you're not in the mix, it's easier to tell people what's going on because you're not at fault either? Because I didn't miss that help assignment. You got to be right there.
Yeah,
right?
It's definitely easier because no one can come back at you saying like, oh, but you did the same thing in the first quarter or something. So like, it's
your hands are clean.
A lot easier. Yeah, it's definitely a lot easier.
Nat, for you, I'm curious. I think you've got now, as you record this, 4 straight games in double figures. You're playing a lot more. You're playing. I got stats for you. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But you've been playing really well as of late. And I'm just curious for someone like you, who the first couple years maybe didn't play as many minutes as you are now. What was your mindset the last couple seasons that allowed you to be ready to kind of take this step up? Because everyone's got kind of different paths when they go through their college career. And I'm curious just what your headspace was like that's now allowed you to kind of really flourish the last couple weeks.
I think it's hard when you like, I think the past 3 years I've battled injuries a lot, obviously. And so it's hard to get your rhythm and your flow. And when you feel like you finally are starting to play well or practice well, things are nagging or things are kind of like those just annoying little injuries would pop up. And so that was really hard for me. And then I feel like I finally got to a place where I was really healthy after this past season. Right. And so in the off season, I feel like it sounds a little counterintuitive, but I kind of took a step back from basketball. I studied abroad. I got myself right, got my mentals right, did a lot of self-care. And I think I just brought a whole new mindset coming into summer workouts and then obviously into the preseason. And just knowing like senior year, I wanted to come out with a bang, just finish strong. So
where'd you study abroad?
South Africa.
South Africa. Okay, tell me about that. What was that like? What city?
We spent like a week and a half in Johannesburg, and then a week and a half in Cape Town. It was amazing.
For Cape Town's pretty electric.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The safari was probably my favorite part. That was so cool to like see all the animals and stuff.
Wow. What, Sonia, have you been? I know you guys have. Okay, you guys both went to Paris, obviously, for the game. And I think did you guys go abroad over the summer as well? Where'd you guys go again?
We went to Greece and Croatia.
Okay, that was Croatia.
Yeah.
Have you been anywhere else? You studied abroad at all, or no?
I haven't. No.
Okay.
I haven't.
What's your favorite place you've been abroad then, whether it's with hoops or somewhere else?
I'd have to say Greece and Croatia. That trip was unbelievable.
It's amazing the places that like college athletics can take you. I'm very jealous of you guys. I see all the teams, and there's like people on the staff to get to go with the teams. I've never been taken on an abroad trip at Notre Dame, so this is kind of my push to hopefully get taken on a trip. I wanted to ask you both about what you're studying because it's finals week. We were just talking before you came in here. You guys are getting close to. Are you guys close to being done with your undergraduate credits, both of you, or maybe not you as much, but are you close now?
Yeah. So I graduate in May.
You graduate in May?
Yeah. I'm a double major, American Studies and Political Science. And
double major?
Yeah, and a minor. Not to flex or anything, but I do have a minor.
So
overachiever over here.
So
I don't know.
annoying.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't know who told me to do that. I didn't have to do that. I could have just had a normal.
So what are the two majors and the minor?
American Studies, Political Science, and then the minor is Public Service.
Okay. There's a lot to unpack there. So you have a final today. We were talking before you started. What's the final?
It is a presentation final, like an oral final, and it's on NIL, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you give me like a preview, a little bit of what you're going to talk about?
Yeah, so it's basically about the politics of NIL. So the class is called Politics of Public Policy. So it's about like how NIL policy came to be, the politics, the stakeholders, kind of like why it happened at the time that it did. So yeah, it's interesting. That's
a presentation that I think I'd love to sit it on, first of all. But then like 5 years from now, you might look back and NIL's so new that like what you would talk about now, you might not talk about 5 years from now, or what you do talk about might be totally relevant. It'd be very interesting. What are you studying, Sony?
Only one major.
Oh man, get off the set. Yeah, I only had one major too, so you're in good company.
Just management consulting.
Oh, okay. So what do you want to do whenever you're done with hoops? Do you know? No idea?
I have no clue. Not one.
That's fine. Sorry. What about you, Nat? Do you know what you want to do whenever you're done?
Nope. I thought law school, and I don't think that's what I want to do anymore, but something in sports.
Something in sports. I was talking to, you guys probably know all the athletes. Like, who was it? I think it was Chris Tyree, maybe Cam Hart. They want to be like a sports agent when they're done. I think Cam Hart said he wants to go to law school and then become an agent whenever he's done playing, which I think would be interesting. If you have that law background or even like a policy background like you're talking about, you can kind of get into that. Let's go back to basketball. You guys are now like about a quarter, the third of the way through the season. Only one loss. Yeah, maybe you're a quarter. 8 games, right? So 32. Yeah, quarter of the way.
Into ACC play.
Yeah.
So thinking about it like that.
Yeah. So what excites you about this group? Obviously, you've got some new young players. You're waiting to get some others back, but what excites you about this specific group so far this year?
I think we're just so talented. Like every single one of us individually just brings something to the team, and I think that on any given night anybody can shine and be like that person for that game, but it's hard to stop all of us because we're all threats, and I think that we've been playing so well, but we still haven't hit our peak, so I'm just excited to see us progress and just keep getting better. Yeah,
Tennessee was a good example of that. I think you guys had 5 different people in double figures, right? That's got to be fun. What excites you about this group?
I like our attention to defense. I think our defensive intensity is raised in comparison just to last season.
Yeah.
And I think we have players that are really, really bought into shutting down the other team's opposing players, which is so fun to play with people alongside you that kind of have that mentality, especially Hannah. So it's fun playing with her.
I was going to ask about Hannah, but first, as you get older, do you start to appreciate defense more? Is that a thing? Do you think you appreciate defense more now than when you're in high school, or has it always been like that?
I would say definitely now compared to high school. Not like freshman year compared to now, but definitely high school, because I feel like in high school it's just so easy. Like
for you guys, it's easy.
I mean, just because you can like use your athleticism or like your speed or quickness, just like you don't have to.
You're just the best one out there.
I mean,
yeah,
that's
fair.
In high school,
yeah.
she was,
and so were you.
She
but
was.
Anyway, but yeah, it's just like
the talent gap is different.
Yeah, and now you just have to be bought into like the principles and every like technique that there is on defense. It's not just like I'll just lock her up using my athleticism. Like you can't do that anymore.
Well, it's, coaches always say like defense, you can't have off nights, right? Like you can miss shots, but like if you're always locked in on defense, like you'll be in every game. I wanted to also ask you guys about where you grew up. So you guys both grew up in New York, right? But different parts of New York. Yes. Did you guys know each other at all or no?
So
we talk about this all the
time. I always tell people this because I'm from the suburbs outside New York City. And like through social media and stuff, I knew of Nat. But
knew of?
Yes. Okay. I did not know her, but I just knew her because she was like the queen of New York City. Like she was the Natalija Marshall, right? So that's how I always saw her.
So we're with a double major and the queen of New York City. We're in like rarefied air right now.
I know, but she was just the Natalija Marshall. Like I had to add the because like I don't know, I put her like on this pedestal because I thought she was so cool but like so intimidating. And then when I got here, just complete different story. Yeah, because it's true. It's true.
So you knew of her on social media through basketball and
like,
just.
I saw her once in person at the Notre Dame Fordham game at Fordham.
Oh, was this like in 2019, 18, 19? I would have been there. Look at that.
Yeah,
I was broadcasting that game. So this is the second time I've been in the same room together. That's pretty cool. But you didn't go up to her and talk to her.
No.
Starstruck.
Yeah. I would not go say hi.
So Nat, what gave you that aura? What about you?
I have no idea.
You just present that way.
I guess so.
It just comes naturally.
I don't know.
I think a lot of people would say you're intimidating, though. Like you look intimidating. Just because
when you hear that, do you take that as a compliment, or is it kind of like a?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's flattered or offended.
I say as a compliment.
Right.
Like just like how she carries herself and like her height, how pretty she is, like just how she carries herself. Like it's like, you know?
Yeah. I hear what you're saying. It's a compliment, but I could hear I'd be like,
Yeah.
You don't want to come near me. I'm put off by that.
Yeah.
But I was also really shy when I was in high school. So like it wasn't all her. Like it was
She was a dog though. Don't let her fool you.
Like I was very, very shy.
How many points did you score in high school?
I don't know.
A lot. It was a lot.
I should have done more research. I know. I remember when Sonia came in, there were a lot of big time stats on her coming in. Did you know of her?
Yeah, I did. We didn't play in the same conference. Obviously, we weren't close, like location wise. But I did hear of her, and she played for like not the local, but like the other good AAU team in the area. So I had always seen her name on social media and stuff.
Okay. Last question. This is one I ask everyone that comes on this show that has been around Notre Dame for a long time. It's an important question. North or South Dining Hall?
South.
That was quick. Are you with her?
That's a hard one because I didn't really go to either. But if I had to,
where do you eat?
I don't know. I didn't really.
Okay, no free ads. That's fine.
My freshman year, I don't even know what I was doing.
South is better.
Why South? Because I'm a North guy, so we can.
I would say South too, though.
I don't know. It like feels older in a good way, like the tradition. I don't know, something about
cozy.
The actual building, which I like. And then it was near my dorm freshman year, so it just feels nostalgic.
So I want to point this out, and I respect your opinion. I really do.
Okay.
Even though it's wrong.
Oh my God.
Every person I've talked to when they say South, they concede it's because it looks and feels a certain way.
Do they actually?
Oh yeah. Or it was right next to my dorm. Like no one ever has a good reason. Like if you tried to walk around South, it's like it's chaos.
Okay.
You go this way, that way. North
you.
is a straight line, and it's because they got it figured out now. So I like the logistics. There's smaller lines. I don't know. North, if you just get down to the nitty gritty, put it in a vacuum, North is better.
Okay.
So if it's closer to your dorm, I get why you went there. I've thought about it a lot. Okay. Yeah. Debated it a lot. I appreciate you guys stopping by. We'll take a quick break, but good luck the rest of the year to both of you.
Thank you.
Irish fans, I would like to introduce one of my favorite people in the entire world, Skylar Diggins-Smith. Thank you for being a part of this podcast. This is an exclusive podcast, having you on. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful for our relationship, and I'm grateful for your support. You have always supported Notre Dame women's basketball, but most importantly, you always support me. So thank you for being on. Thank you for taking time. I know you're getting back and just came from a workout, so thank you.
No, thank you for having me. Of course, I'm always going to jump on for my Notre Dame people. I'm always going to support, what y'all got going on. And obviously everything that you're doing, I'm just so proud of you and everything that you're doing with Notre Dame and just trailblazing. And we could go on, and I tell you this all the time. So I'm definitely happy to be here. And like I always say, let's get into it.
Perfect. You like my shirt? I thought this was appropriate.
It's
just
nice.
as much as you support me.
Okay.
Yes, just as much as you support me, you already know.
I should have wore my 33 Irish man.
Yes, it's okay.
The next time.
Yes, next time. I want to start off with a couple stories. My Skylar, I have 1,000 stories. But I'm going to start the podcast with...
Let's keep it PG-13.
I'm going to start with some of my favorite Skylar moments and Skylar stories. So let's go back in 2007. So I got that call that I was going to interview for this assistant coach position from Coach McGraw, and went on campus, and she offered me the position, but right before she left, she gave me a sheet and she said, Skylar Diggins, that's who you need to get. That was my first assignment. So I'm like, just green, not really understanding, knowing. I was like, okay, Skylar Diggins. Okay. I did my research. I was like, this is the big one. This is the one Coach McGraw said we must get. So then after that, I remember getting your footage, watching your tapes, and I was like, Coach, she's tough. I was like, she's amazing. The fact that you were at camp, grew up in South Bend, just being part of it.
You got to say the other part of it is you were just finding out about me, but I had known about you forever. No, but I was lucky enough to be right there in the backyard. And so when you came on back to staff, obviously I'd always paid attention to what was going on with Notre Dame women's basketball, followed it since, you played. And so when you came back to Notre Dame, that was really cool. And it just I'd always kind of looked up to you in that sense from from afar. And so that was really the point in time when I probably was 16-ish, where, I got to get to know you a little bit better as a coach. And, on that stand from watching from afar to getting to know you, getting out of the geek, getting out of the fan part of it. That was really how we established, some type of friendships, relationship, just recruiting. But it was really the knowledge of the game. We had a lot of parallels, just how we had gotten to that point. And so
right,
it was organic. And I've been seeing Coach McGraw coming around and stuff. My freshman year, she came to Washington, and just seeing her at the games, that was a big deal for me. Seeing you at the games and AAU, and that was the start of everything. Just even really inquiring about okay, is this for real about me going to Notre Dame? Yeah.
I feel like it's full circle that you watched me, be part of the Notre Dame family, Notre Dame brand champion, and then I got a chance to be a part of the journey of bringing you here, and to see
it really was another person to that chain too. The other person to our chain like that, Coquise.
I was about to say Coquise.
She always say, Sky, I've recruited Niele. She came here, y'all won championship. She did her thing. Then she came back. I came back. She talked like that. And she recruited you, and then you came, then y'all won and stuff. You came back to the school, and you recruited me. And, so I guess my job is going to have to be down the line, maybe trying to find, it can't stop with me.
Oh, yeah.
But no, that was a full circle moment, and it was really unique because you were somebody I really looked up to. Mm-hmm. So you rarely get to have the mentors, you know, and mentorship that with people that you have always looked up to as a kid.
Right. Which is such a blessing that God has created this path for us, to be honest. Like you said, it was organic. It's authentic. Mm-hmm. I was going to get into that, our relationship and friendship down the road, but like it was so organic and authentic that it was like, it was a no-brainer. And I was like, I just enjoyed getting to know you and your mindset and who you were as not even just a player, but as a person. Like you were somebody that I was like, I've never been around someone so competitive, so passionate, and so confident at a young age, you know? And so I have a list of your accolades right now. And it's a testament. If the person that I met, you know, 20 years ago, just to see what you've done for the game, but also the way you've changed and inspired and been a pioneer in so many different spaces. It's honestly unbelievable.
I appreciate
from the first
it.
moment that I met you.
I had great role models. I always say it. You know, even like Carol Owens, people don't realize, like CO, like just it goes way back to I've always been like around. So anybody that's kind of passed through South Bend and Notre Dame in that sense, I feel like I'm like, oh yeah, having great, you know, role models around me, like at that stage, because I was at home, and I think it's easier when you at home because you got like not distractions, but it's people that you used to seeing, you know, it's like crutch is almost like a comfort zone, and it's not bad having like family around you. I was just saying, you know, to get in that mindset of being focused, you know, just being immersed in like everything I needed to do to be a great student athlete and to be a great leader. I had all the tools from y'all. And so it was cool because y'all coached me hard. And I think that you realized that I wanted that. Like I wanted to be coached really hard. I like to be coached hard. And what I mean by that is I want to be challenged. I want my coaches to make me better. I want, you know, them to set goals for us and our team and be accountable. And I'm going to hold other people accountable with those goals that we say we have. And so it really was having a great group when I was around, and even the supporting cast that I had. If you look around, a lot of them are still in the league, overseas doing great things, champions. And so it says a lot about the personnel that was there, whether you're talking about like a Devereaux Peters or, you know, Natalie Novosel, to have Jewel, K-Mac, you know, to have Natalija Chanwa. You know, the list goes on and on of like great players. I mean, even somebody like Ariel Breaker, who just always in the right spot. It's just like I had great talent around me as well. And so I think we found a way to mesh. But it was based off of you guys setting the tone for us. And that's not always the case. You know, not everybody likes being coached hard. You know, and sometimes nowadays, you know, you see all the names in the transfer portal, you know, and I think y'all used to say it about us too with like coaching. Everybody thinks the next generation is like getting so soft and you're soft. But I really appreciate how, you know, that's the type of coach that you are. And it would fit in the category like a player coach, you know, with you take input. Like you're always learning about the game.
Absolutely.
And you're passionate about the game translates to the players. And so that definitely was the case. I mean, me and you spent countless amount of hours like watching film. And it's such a rarity now. I feel like I don't know how many people like break the game down. And that taught me a lot about the game because I feel like the IQ is something that lacks nowadays. The IQ of the game, knowing time, score, possession, you know, knowing who to get the ball to at what time, you know, where. And just things that I learned from you, intangibles, you know, from you playing against us. I don't think people realize that either. Like you was coming out the league in 2007, you know what I'm saying? Like you were coming off playing not too long, you know, before that. And so you used to be up in practices like busting our ass, and it'd be like, I got Niele, or somebody get Niele, you know, because you would poop, 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 poop. And I think, shoot, that was another aspect that we had at our, you know, in our repertoire to have like somebody like you that you were a pro. And so you were at where we all were trying to, you know, go to. And so that was really important to my development, you know, as a player, and just to keep challenging me, you know, to reach goals and to make people better. I think, around me, because you can get yours. That's great. And congratulations. And I think you guys really challenged me to like make other people better, you know, around me in the process, like my teammates.
I think that's one of the best attributes for you, is that you wanted to be coached. I give that example all the time with my point guards. I give it to Liv. I give it to Hannah. I give it to Lindsay Allen. You know, everybody that's gone through this program is like, I was like one of the best players that's ever played this game. One of the best players that ever gone through this program wanted to be coached. And so like, that's a great trait to have, because like you said, like in this era of little bit, the generation is a little bit different, you know, like that some people can't handle it, and great players want to be coached. And the fact you just said that you want to be challenged, and that's, you understood like that's what's going to make you better. I always appreciate that about you. That was from our first conversation. You were like, Coach, I need you to coach me. I want you to coach me hard. And I'm like, bet, you know, like, gave me permission. No problem.
And it was
you gave me permission to be myself.
Y'all had no problem y'all had no problem coaching me hard. That's and that's something else that I feel like it's not always, you know, the relationship with your coach or whatever. It's not always like gumdrops and candy canes and rainbows and always super like positive and you know, pleasant, I guess I should say. Sometimes they tell you the hard stuff that you don't want to hear. You know, you hear them in your ear and it's like, let me just do this so they can just be quiet, you know, about it. But I will say, you know, credit to players like Lindsay Allen and, you know, Arike and, you know, Marina and those players, Jackie, Breezy, because they had expectations, I think, by the time they came to the program.
Absolutely.
Whereas I didn't feel that the first like year or two.
Right.
I didn't feel that pressure until junior year, like when we went to that year, like my junior year, 2000. I don't want to age myself, but you know, like 2012, that Final Four. You know, I didn't feel pressure until that year for us to perform. And I do think that when they came in, you know, that was just a different standard, especially somebody like Lindsay Allen, you know, just getting thrown into the fire. And so I commend that team for, you know, being able to find their own in that sense, you know, after all that, just finding their own identity. And I was always really proud of them for that, because they went through their fair share of stuff too. And they got the championship that we were trying to get, you know. Right.
But you set the stage, you set the standard.
I'll never forget that for the 2018 team. I was so proud of them for that. But I think just the standard of players that continue to want to be a part of this program, and even in another era, you know, they trust you and they want to play for you. And I think that people that want to be a pro, especially guards, I named all those players that are in the league and still playing that came out of our program. And, you know, now we are one of the top programs when it comes to being able to translate talent to the pros. And that says a lot about developing people when you get there, not just for the system, but the system everybody can eat in the system.
Right.
And I think that's why people want to come to Notre Dame still. People want to play for you, play in your system, because it's dynamic. And that's when I see players like Olivia Miles, like not in my wildest dreams, you know, could I move like that at that age? You know, just the way that she has the ball on a string, her handle, she sees stuff, you know, with them goggles just out there, just, you know, throwing dimes. Like they know the game of basketball. Like they've played the game, they watched the game of basketball. And just seeing how dynamic, you know, she is, Olivia. Obviously, you know, we've been through what she's going through.
Right.
So, you know, she's in a little bit of a process coming back. But I think, and I've talked to you about this, I feel like you kind of, no pressure on her, but you learn more about your body when you go through things and injuries, and you learn how to kind of take care of your body, if you will.
Right.
You know, like I really do think the best is yet for her. Ceiling is so damn high. It's so high, Neil. Another player I get really excited about is Hannah.
Yes.
And people don't know this, And I don't even know if she want me saying this, but we made like a little deal. Like we made like a little deal before the season. Can I share it? You think she'd be okay with it?
Probably.
Well, anyway, I know why she going how she going. I'll just say that.
Yeah. You got some great inspiration.
Just special. Yeah, special. Just special.
Yeah.
She's not afraid, and I think that's unique. Like, she's not, when you first come in as a freshman, sometimes you try to not step on people's toes, or you try to, like, kind of be nice.
Yeah. Right.
You know, it's nice. Yeah, I'm going to make an extra pass. And this is like, she started her career playing against, like, the best team at the
biggest stage.
On the biggest stage, and something that's never been done before. Like, big ups to you guys for that, too. But, like, you know, she started versus South Carolina. Like, no shade. I don't even remember what school I started against, but it wasn't them, you know? And so it's just great seeing how she's just not scared. She's not going to back down, and, you know, having to come into a position where she probably had to do a little bit more.
You know who she reminds me of? You know who that reminds me of? You.
Oh, yeah. So I've heard. You know, but I wasn't that good on defense. Man, I wasn't that committed on defense.
Yes,
I didn't
you
care
were.
about that until probably sophomore year, junior year.
You were.
When y'all got on me about it.
You were.
But no, it's great seeing her. You know, she's excited. She's excited.
So I have a question from Liv. We talked about our point guards, my current point guards. She says, how do you manage the stress of both family life and the pressures of the league, adversity, mental and physical health? How do you handle that?
I think time management. I feel like time management is important. Like, trying to prioritize your time or manage your time. Like, especially when I was in school, because, you know, like, people don't really notice I came into Notre Dame pre-med. Like, I had like 18, 19 credits, like, just trying to balance everything. That's just, and really what helped me is time management. So I think now, even as an adult, trying to manage my time where I'm literally on a schedule, you know, and trying to prioritize, you know, things that I need to get done. But after that, you know, how do you take care of you?
Right.
What do you do for you? And for everybody, that's different what their, you know, self-care looks like. It might not be going to an extravagant spa or things like that, but maybe you go for a walk or just, you know, go outside, spend some time with yourself, write, read, whatever you like to do. So I think finding that time to, like, where it's silent or where it's nothing going on. If you're a meditator, I got into meditation, Pilates, you know, those things really helped me a lot because I'm naturally high strung and anxious. And so it really helps me kind of like regulate and stay balanced. And so those are things that I learned after college,
right?
You know, but I think definitely that it's not one right answer to it. But I think time management really helped me and it's helping me. And just trying to find some time where it's just you, where it's quiet, where it's silent, you know, doing other things besides just like what you're known for, like basketball, or like things that other people may identify you as, finding other things that you are passionate about or that you like.
Right. Love that. I know she's going to love hearing that. So this one's from Hannah. She says, what would you change if you could go back and do it over again?
Nothing. No, I'm lying. I would change the scores about 2 games I could think of. Probably just two of. Yeah, you know, I that question, go back and change anything. I don't know if I would change anything because it really just led me to be where I am today, and it could sound like cliche. You know, obviously, I wish we would have won, you know, one of those Final Fours we were in. But I think about it all the time, like, you know, maybe that just, it wasn't my time, it was their time. And so, you know, it just wasn't my time yet. But I don't think that diminishes anything that, you know, I feel like I brought to the game, or like my game, or, you know, my path or things like that. I'm proud of everything, you know, the whole journey. I'm proud of it because it was not easy.
Right.
And, so I don't know if I would change things because I learned a lot from every, like, hurdle,
right?
You know, or like through all the static, having to comb out all the kinks, like that made me a woman, you know? And so, yeah, I don't think I would go back and change anything, especially like I went to Notre Dame, like I left Notre Dame was so much, and like my husband, father of my 2 kids, like I, started dating at Notre Dame. So it's like, it's just so much things that happen like through my life that stemmed from that. And I wouldn't change anything in college. Like I said, if we be in 100, maybe the scores are like 2 of the games.
I think you probably could have changed NIL, because if you had NIL, Headband Nation would have been crazy.
I mean, I was thinking about coming back. I know I got 1 year of a super
You started
duper,
NIL.
Duper senior,
I would like to say on
a
record,
super,
you started
super duper
NIL.
senior. No, I love that though for them, because it's not gonna, like, you deserve it. They deserve it.
Yeah.
And I think just figuring out a way to, it's a part of it. That's what I'll say. It's a part of it. And just keeping the main thing within that.
Absolutely.
I think is what's different, because it's different. It's not, you're not used to being like all this attention, all these opinions maybe off of other things, and then trying to find your brand within that sense, things that align with your brand, things that make sense, that look organic, because you're not just going to be posting, "Hi, I'm Niele," posting, and it's not going to come off right. And so I think it's unique, because I think earlier people are finding out things about what they want their brand to look like, because they are the brand.
Yeah.
And it's not just like Notre Dame women's basketball or Notre Dame or whatever being the brand. It's like Skylar or, Hannah, that, the list goes on and on. Just like, it's the players. They are the individual brands. And it's amazing to see people develop their brand so early on in their lives, 19, 20, 21, just really having to understand that. And that's the same. It reminds me of when I was in school, and I think around like my sophomore year, just like, social media, first one to go viral from basketball like that, on Twitter. And it's just like, boom, boom. It's a lot that comes with that. And it's that phrase, to whom much is given, much is expected. Required. And I think just finding that balance within everything, because you can do both really well. You can be a student athlete. You can do your NIL brand deals. Like, you have the resources to do all those things now. And so I think it's dope seeing people, developing their brand so early, like in college. So after, when you get out, you kind of, you know what direction you want to go in. You've dabbled, you've got relationships with certain brands, and you can take that with you. Your name, image, and likeness doesn't stop in college. You could take it with you everywhere you go. And so, I definitely would have made a damn killing. But, I'm just happy that it happened sooner or later for them to get their money.
Absolutely. All right, we'll take a quick break, and we're going to come back with a question from the fans. This is our From the Irish segment presented by TireRack.com, where we ask fans to submit a question for our special guest. Our lucky fan is Marty G from South Bend, Indiana. Sky, if you could go back in time and play any college game over, which game would it be and why?
Yeah, that's a great question, Marty G from South Bend. And I'm definitely gonna go with the Indianapolis Final Four versus Texas A&M. Like, if I had to pick the championship games, it would be there, because it was in Indiana. And I really do feel like, man, we had it lit. We had it jumping. Like, the whole city came. That was amazing. And we literally just fell to a team that outbeat us that day, that outplayed us, And so that moment, I think, was huge. But I can't imagine, and it did set the tone. But that was probably one game. If I could go back and change that score, it would be that one, or obviously the championship game in Denver.
Got you. Thanks, Guy.
Good question, Marty G from the SBI, baby. I see you.
Just to kind of wrap this up, I always tell you this, but you've done so many. I honestly have a list of all the accolades: being Olympian, WNBA All-Star, all the records that you broke here at Notre Dame, and just in women's sports. But what I love about you probably the most is your competitive fire, your heart, your passion to be the best, your passion to make everybody better around you. And I think that's a trait that not too many people have. And you've had that from the beginning. Your work ethic, your drive, your attention to detail, and the way that you compete, the way that you prepare. It's phenomenal. It's unbelievable. And I'm blessed that I've had the opportunity to be a part of your small part of your journey, but just to watch you evolve. And I do remember the viral moment when I think it was Chris Brown or Lil Wayne or somebody tweeted about you. And then after you went from like 3,000 followers to like 100,000 followers. And to the point that you were in the African-American, I sent that video to you, the National African-American History Museum in DC. What you've done for the game, how you've changed the game is just unbelievable. And I'm just grateful to have watched you. I'm grateful to have witnessed. I asked greatness because that's what I think you are. I think you are great. You're a great person. You're a great talent. You're a great mother. You're great everything. I've always felt like you exude greatness to me. I've been inspired even being your coach. That's really complimentary to you because I feel like you made me better. Like I was always challenging myself to come back with better workouts because I was like, Sky, she's already mastered this. I gotta come back. I gotta bring something better, something that's gonna challenge her even more. So I'm just grateful for you, Skylar, my relationship with you, but also I'm so proud of you. I'm proud of what you've done. I'm proud of the woman you've become. I'm proud of the wife you've become. Like everything that you've done, you've changed my life for the better. And I know that you continue changing lives and inspiring lives. And I want to give you your flowers. I always say this to you, but like you just are one of the best that I've ever been.
Don't make me cry.
I know I'm not trying to make you cry in this podcast, but you honestly are one of the best people that I've ever been around. And you continue to inspire me. I will always be here for you. I will always support you. And I'm excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for this summer. I'm excited to see you continue to impact this game in the way that you've had. And I'm excited for it. So thank you for taking the time.
No, thank you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for, you already know. Thank you for blazing the trail. What's understood don't need to be explained 100%. Like keep blazing the trail for all of us. We standing on your shoulders. I swear we are. And so thank you for everything you invested into all of us. And I love you. I love the program. I'm always rooting for you and y'all. And it's always go Irish.
Yes, go Irish. Love you too.
That wraps up another edition of Wake Up the Echoes presented by TireRack.com. Thanks as always to head coach Niele Ivey, Nat Marshall, and Sonia Citron. And thanks to Irish great Skylar Diggins-Smith for spending so much time with us to talk about her time here on campus as well as her professional career. We'll talk to women's basketball when we get back from the holiday break. Before we go into Christmas, we have one more bonus episode for you. Listen to this. It's going to drop tomorrow, Wednesday on signing day. We convinced Marcus Freeman to come back. He's going to join us again to talk about signing day, probably talk a little bowl game as we get set for that. Should be a great conversation with him. Looking forward to having him back on Wake Up the Echoes tomorrow. So a unique drop. It'll be Wednesday, December 20th. Keep an eye out for wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure you download, subscribe on all those platforms. We will talk to you soon on Wake Up the Echoes, presented by TireRack.com.